So I've written a lot about this issue, and I think you have to take the heat out of it. I disagree with Caroline, actually. I think schools are crying out for guidance on this issue. It's very important they get it, because it's a very complex issue, and it should be determined by two things. It should be determined by the best medical evidence on social transition and what discrimination law says as well. And on the medical evidence, and it's all about child well-being, it shouldn't be about ideology. On the medical evidence, we've had a very important independent review by a distinguished paediatrician, Hilary Cass. She looked at social transition. She said it's not a neutral intervention. It can have long-term impacts on children and young people in terms of their psychological functioning.
So when you say it's not a neutral intervention, in other words, actually making that choice to decide what
she says it should be done in conjunction with clinical professionals, not head teachers, because it can make medical transition more likely, and it can. We know from the medical evidence that gender dysphoria, so the feeling that you were born a boy but you may be a girl or vice versa, we know that in the majority of children and young people that resolves itself through adolescence. If you socially transition children and young people, Hilary Cass is worried, and many other medical professionals, that you make it set in a way that it wouldn't otherwise, with long-term consequences. Yes. So that is very important. The second thing you have to be, so it should be mental health professionals taking this decision in conjunction with parents. It absolutely should not be schools. We know there are cases where it's been done by schools without parents being informed, without parental consent. That is terrible. The other thing we have to be very careful of is there is discrimination legislation that establishes the right sort of all children in schools. The Equalities Act. So schools have to provide genuinely single-sex toilets, changing facilities. Girls have the rights to access single-sex sports at schools.
I want to come on to those questions in a minute. Just on the principle of it.